One of you guys, a subscriber named Sedent, challenged me to be able to pronounce a sentence in Hindi as closely to a native as possible. Now, I'm going to be doing this more or less in a raw way, meaning that I'm not going to be getting a whole lot of feedback from a native speaker. So that is going to limit, potentially, how far I can get with sounding perfect, right? My ears can't necessarily hear everything, but we'll see what happens. This is also going to give you guys a really interesting look into the way that I shadow. You will be able to hear the audio that I am working with through the recording here, and you'll see exactly what I'm doing, and you can pay attention to what I'm doing with my mouth, what I'm listening to, and all those things, so that you have a better idea of how you can do shadowing, although it's not the only way to do shadowing.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो? क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो?
I asked him to say the sentence slowly and then at normal speed, because I can't necessarily hear everything at normal speed right away, especially because I have no experience with Hindi.
क्या तुम
Kya, kya,
क्या
kya, kya, kya. So right now I'm trying to find that ah vowel. I'm not exactly sure where that is.
क्या
Kya, kya. It's probably not quite right, but it's pretty close.
क्या
Kya. Okay, so right now I'm focusing on the sounds. Okay, just the basic sounds. The rhythm and the stress is going to kind of go with that in the way that I say the sounds, but I'm really focusing on the sounds here.
तुम
Tum,
क्या तुम
tum. See, and I hear that there's a t, it's more of a t, like a dental T instead of t. Where if I see this written with a T, I might want to say like kya tum, right? But I'm listening. Kya tum. Okay, let's see. Let's go back.
क्या तुम
Tum, tum. Okay,
क्या तुम
tum. So I'm going back and I'm repeating these pieces and trying to make sure I have them good or well enough.
क्या तुम
Tum, tum,
तुम
tum. Seems like there's a little bit off with that vowel. I'm not quite sure.
आराम
Aram,
आराम
aram,
आराम
aram. Okay.
आराम कर
Kar. No.
आराम कर
Kar, kar. That's very, very bad.
आराम कर
Kar, kar, kar. I'm really not sure how to do that. I'm not sure how to hit that, what sounds to me like an R, like a tapped R.
आराम कर
Kar, kar. Oh, that might be it. That's pretty close. So as I'm going through this and I'm doing this, I'm trying to use my ears and picture in my mouth based on my experience. One of the things that I did, right, the vowel charts are a visual that can help you, but they're also just approximate. They're not necessarily pinpoint placements. They're just, okay, it's kind of here, right? Where you really want to rely on your ears and develop based between your ears and how your tongue feels. Me, after looking at several languages, the pronunciation at least of several languages, I have a pretty good database of slight different changes in the mouth that I can use, okay? So becoming more aware of how your language works and how your tongue feels in your language, which you might not notice at first, you might not feel it, practice it, okay? But becoming aware of how your own tongue is moving can actually help you a lot to develop the same type of skill. This is a skill. It doesn't matter how talented someone might or might not be, you can develop this same skill. This is why it seems like magic of how somebody can just do that. Just, oh, how can you reproduce that so well, even if it's not perfect? It's because we practice these things, we build these things up over time.
आराम कर
Kar, kar,
आराम कर
kar. It's still a little bit off, but I think it's closer.
कर
Kar,
रहे हो
rehe, and then
कर रहे हो
rehe, ho. Ideally, if I were studying Hindi, I would go and I would actually look at what are all the sounds. I'm not going that deep here because this is a very simple thing and I want to see how far I can get without actually studying too much or really at all about Hindi phonology. I'm kind of just using my ears here.
कर रहे हो क्या तुम आराम
Re, re,
कर रहे हो
rehe, ho.
कर रहे
Rehe, rehe. See, I'm trying to make sure I get that part good.
कर रहे
Rehe, rehe,
कर रहे
rehe. Bit off.
रहे
Rehe, rehe, rehe.
हो
No.
कर रहे हो क्या
हो,
तुम
ho,
रहे हो
ho, 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 ho,
रहे हो
ho, ho. See, I'm listening to how my lips are. If I do like ho, that doesn't sound right. If I do ho, it doesn't sound right. Okay, so it's the lips and how open the jaw is.
रहे हो
Ho, ho, ho. See, it's not like English like ho, right?
रहे हो
Ho, ho. It's kind of stiff in a way.
रहे हो
Ho, ho. But there's a certain openness to it.
रहे हो
Ho, ho. I'm not sure where to put the back of my tongue either, but so if we go back here,
क्या तुम
is there an N there?
क्या
No, no N. I want to say kyan for some reason. Kya, okay.
क्या
Kya,
तुम
tum,
आराम
aram,
कर
कर
रहे हो
रहे हो.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Now I'm going to see if I can, in the slow version, put the pieces together. Now this is ideal, right? You may not always have a slow version to work with, but it helps. And because I'm not actually studying Hindi, this is definitely something I need to help me out here.
क्या
Kya,
तुम
tum,
आराम
aram,
कर
kar
रहे हो क्या तुम आराम
That O is not.
रहे हो
रहे हो.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
So you think like kar rahe ho, I don't know. Kar rahe, kar rahe, la. Okay. Let's calm the tongue. Calm the tongue. Okay. See, that's the big stumbling block.
हो क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
She's like, kar rahe ho. Like, I'm not sure how to do that. It sounds so different than the slow version. So I really don't know. I feel like I'm kind of stuck here because this fast version, even if it's just the faster version of this, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm feeling like, how am I supposed to wrap my tongue around that and push that out? Okay. This is why you have to break things down. This is why you have to spend time with the pieces that you have a lot of trouble with. And if you notice something that seems overwhelming, you're like, I can't make my tongue do that. You got to break it down. You got to play with it. You got to figure it out. Now, I'm not going to be spending a super long time here, trying to master the exact tongue position because I'm not learning Hindi right now. Okay, so again, this is just an example and a little bit of fun for you guys to see how I do.
क्या
Kya,
तुम
aram.
आराम
Okay. Now you don't have to say it on top of it. I'm kind of trying to do that just to see how I sound.
क्या
Kya?
तुम
No, I want to say kyan.
क्या
There's no N there.
क्या
Kya,
तुम आराम क्या
Kya,
तुम
aram,
आराम कर
kar.
रहे हो
See, I can't even remember all the syllables in place or what all the pieces are. I'm not familiar enough with it, and I don't have any written version here. I specifically didn't ask for a written version because I didn't want it to interfere with what my brain knows about English. You can do this where you try to figure it out without the text, and this is actually something that I do with many of my students that I have done, where first it's a listening dictation, and they have to actually write what they hear to see if they're hearing it correctly. But that makes them focus on their ears first instead of just trying to read the text and letting their eyes take over and influence their ears first. So it's a good way to start.
क्या
Kya,
तुम
tum,
आराम
aram,
कर
kar.
रहे हो
रहे हो.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
So I'm not going to try to do the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to try to put together some of these pieces here.
हो क्या तुम आराम
Kya tum aram, kya tum aram,
हो क्या तुम आराम
kya tum aram,
क्या तुम आराम
kya tum aram. I feel like I'm off on some of these vowels.
हो क्या तुम आराम कर रहे
Kya tum aram. And then now that I'm starting to put it together, see, I'm not even focusing so much on the rhythm or any stress that might be there right now because I'm still trying to get these basic sounds and pieces, right? Or these syllables at least. As I start putting this together, focusing on the sounds, then I'm going to go back and sort of, we would say, massage the rhythm. I'm going to start paying attention to the actual rhythm at the normal speed. Because at the slow speed here,
क्या
the rhythm is broken,
तुम
right?
आराम कर
Like da 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 da. That's not the actual rhythm, right? And that's okay. The rhythm might break down at the slow speed, right? Because that's more for the sounds, maybe some of the linking things, so you can hear everything and try to reproduce it all.
रहे हो क्या तुम आराम
Kya tum aram?
क्या तुम आराम
Kya tum? Ah 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 ah
क्या
ah 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 ah. So here I'm trying to make micro adjustments.
क्या
Kya
तुम क्या
kya. See, I can't. This is really hard just trying to rely on my ears. Normally what I would do here, right, first I try to rely on my ears, but I'm detecting that I'm a little off and I'm having trouble finding it and getting the exact position. What you want to do ideally in this position at this point is you work with somebody, you get feedback, right? Because your ears can only tell you so much, and your ears might be wrong, right? It could even be maybe I'm saying it perfectly fine, but I'm actually, my ears are saying it's a little bit off because I'm not quite used to it. This is the hard part, right? Where you guys, need to find like an informal tutor or somebody who is, maybe they're not going to tell you how to change it, but they can just at least tell you, okay, yes, you sound good, right? And you want them to give you very brutal feedback, like, does this sound off at all, right? Just a little tiny bit. And then you make your adjustment, you try again, see what they say, okay? And you want fast iteration. You want to try like kya, whatever it is. Get their feedback, say it again, get their feedback, say it again. Each time making a little tiny change with your tongue. This is why you have to feel your tongue.
तुम आराम कर रहे क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Now here, this difficult part, I'm really just trying to focus on my ears and trying to wrap my ears around this like that part before I can even really try to do it with my tongue. And then I have to sort of very slowly start trying to figure out how to make my tongue do that. But I'm kind of imagining how my tongue would feel trying to do what my ears hear.
तुम आराम कर रहे हो
So I'm kind of trying to feel the sound without actually producing it, if that makes sense.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Like feeling it through my ears. I know that might seem weird.
आराम कर रहे हो क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो 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 तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the slower version.
तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Kar.
आराम कर रहे हो
Okay, so that kar is super slow or super fast, it seems.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Kar. So I guess it's like ra, like a rolled R.
कर रहे हो
It seems like a rolled R. And maybe I'm wildly wrong there, and there's a Hindi speaker watching this just like laughing so hard, in which case you're welcome for the entertainment.
कर रहे
Kar rahe.
हो
Kar rahe.
क्या तुम आराम कर रहे हो
Kar rahe. So right now, I'm not just focused on my tongue, I'm trying to listen to the sound before that R and after that R to make sure that that's also good and that I'm flowing into the R right. So I'm sort of going in and out of focusing between the R itself and then trying to make sure that I don't lose those vowels by over focusing on the R too much. So I did one recording and I sent that to Seaton. He gave me some feedback. And now I'm going to try to improve based on his feedback and taking a look at the vowel chart here. So we have a lot of similarities here between Hindi and English. In fact, the symbols are almost exactly the same. The placements are very similar. The A in English is a little farther forward if it's unmerged. So I know one of the sounds I need is here. We have the schwa sound. This is almost identical to the English chart, which is very, very interesting for Hindi speakers because once you become aware of this, you're actually you can use your own language as a reference in a very real way. Now, this is going to help me reverse engineer the sentence because I'm having some trouble with the vowel sounds, getting those really, really well. So from my first attempt, Seedant said it's pretty solid, good job, it's very close. So I'm going to take this feedback and I'm going to look at the vowel chart here. So we're going to look at this vowel chart here, and we know we have kya, so I can see it's here. And what I'm going to do, I know that in the unmerged version, the sound is kind of more around here. So it would be like kya, kya, kya. And I need to bring that back. Kya, kya, kya. And I want to listen to his audio.
क्या क्या
And turn that up a bit. Kya,
तुम
no.
क्या
Kya, 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 kya. So I guess I have to open more. Kya,
क्या तुम
kya, kya,
क्या तुम क्या
kya, kya. I think I'm closer there. It may not be perfect yet. Kya, kya. And I'm going to have to remember that.
क्या तुम
Okay, so here I'm trying to find which one is it because I'm not sure. So I'm sort of listening and I'm playing, okay, if I try to do this sound in tum, like tum, tum, tum. Okay, I find the sound first, tum, tum. And then I listen to it and then I try to do with this sound instead. So instead of I want tum, tum. Okay, and then I listen and I try to see which one sounds better.
क्या तुम
Tum, tum. It definitely sounds more like an I think.
क्या तुम
Tum, maybe it's not though. Tum, 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 tum,
क्या तुम
tum, tum. I think maybe I'm trying to do it as like a high schwa, what I call the high schwa, that horseshoe shape, this one, like book. I think I'm trying to do it this way, but it might actually be more this way.
आराम कर
Kar. I think I'm losing it a little bit. Kar, kar, kar. Yeah. See, and this can happen. This also is part of the process where even if you keep practicing it, sometimes your brain, because it's still something new, it can kind of lose the track. And so even though you find it, maybe you'll lose it and you have to re-find it again. That's a natural part of the process. So don't worry if that happens. I'm also kind of tired because I quit caffeine and my brain is like, eh. So depending on how you feel, how tired you are, that is also going to be a big factor here, especially if you're trying to do some intensive practice. And, it takes a lot of resources up here to coordinate your ears with your tongue and make these little changes. So you want to try to do this when you feel rested, ideally. But of course, you should just generally be playing with these things throughout the day. So if like with this kar, right, this is something that to make sure I don't lose or to make sure I can get it back, I would be playing with this like throughout the day. This is one sound I would maybe work with. Or getting the that o just right, getting the a just right. Kya tum aaram kar rahe ho? Kya tum aaram kar rahe ho?
So it sounds pretty good. I mean, the last time you said it, like the very last time when you said it fast, then it was like, it sounds natural. However, like when you slow down and you say it, can you say it now? Can I hear you say it?
Yeah, I haven't even practiced it today. Let's see, so I have to remember what all the syllables are. So, kya tum aaram kar. Such a weird one. Kar.
Yeah. So let's
rahe
start with
ho.
kya, okay? So are you like trying to make sound out of your nose? Kya, kya.
No, I'm not trying to. No.
Yeah. It's kya.
Kya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're hearing some nasal, right?
Little bit, yeah. Very little bit.
Okay.
Kya, kya.
That could be from can in English. Kya.
Yeah.
Kya.
Yeah. Yeah. So take your time. I mean, once you say it, you need to take your time to say this vowel. Yeah. Can you say yeah? Like yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kya.
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 Kya. Kya.
Okay.
Kya.
And I'm trying to make
You
sure.
say like kya, kya,
Am I doing that?
kya.
Yeah, see, I'm not even
Yeah,
aware of that.
kya. But it's kya.
That could also
Like
be a little
everything
bit of
is
just my voice.
yeah.
Kya, kya, kya,
Now it sounds better. Yeah, kya.
kya.
Yes,
So I
kya.
gotta get rid of keep the
Kya.
nose closed. Okay.
Nice.
And what about tum?
Tum. Now you kind of like use the slightly oo, like tum.
Yeah.
Sometimes like when you slow down and you say tum, it's tum.
Tum,
Oo. Tum.
tum, tum.
Oo. Like small oo.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, okay. So I was completely misunderstanding that. Okay. Ooh, ooh.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Then
Mm.
tum. Ma.
Okay.
Ma.
Ooh.
Ma.
Okay.
Tum.
Tum, tum.
Tum. Yeah. Tum.
Gotcha.
Tum.
Okay. And I just want to point out for the video here that see, even though I'm experienced doing this in various languages and playing with the sounds, these are little details that I'm not even really noticing, because I remember you said it was like a short ooh, and I was like,
Yeah,
that didn't really click with me, because I was thinking it was either like tum, like ooh, or it was like like tum, right?
Tum. Yeah.
So it needs to be
So
a short
I mean,
ooh.
yeah, you're
Mhm.
now that I'm letting you know, I think you're doing a good job. So it's
Okay.
tum.
Okay.
The ma.
Tum.
Tum.
Tum. For this exercise, I am trying to see if I can do it 100% perfect, 100% naturally, but I'm not putting in, like, say, the full effort if I were actually learning Hindi,
Yeah.
And I'm doing pretty well, I think. So
Yeah, you are. So as far as like if I talk about like understanding you, it's pretty like anyone can understand what you're saying. Yeah, but sounding natural thing, that's a bit off.
yeah. So, and that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's like I think that's something that may take somebody like years to practice, and then
Well, I wouldn't necessarily.
constant repetition is needed for that, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of repetition. I wouldn't necessarily say years. It might depend on the person. I mean, some people, yeah, it might take a really, really long time. But I think especially if you kind of know what to do and you're using the right tools, you're playing with it consistently, and you're really trying to notice the details. These are the things I tell you guys to do, right?
Yeah. And I think that like you can also hear the difference. Like you know that you're not saying it right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you know that you're not saying it right, but still you cannot produce this exact same sound.
Yes.
So that's a problem.
And then now, based off of your more closer live feedback, I'm realizing there's actually a couple little subtleties that my ears, because my ears aren't trained for Hindi, and the slight little differences, it's only natural that I'm going to have some difficulty. So if you guys have difficulty with these little tiny details, that's normal, that's natural. And if you put in the work with right techniques, you're going to be able to reach the level that you want.
Yeah. So it definitely requires like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And yeah, someone has to put in like too much effort, I guess, to probably sit down and listen to it and get constant feedback, and probably then reduce the accent and try to sound natural as much as they can.
Yes.
So maybe, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you have done really good, Josh. Like if it comes to understanding you, I think anybody here can understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, but the goal was to sound like natural, but that's also like very close. It's like 95%, I would say 95, 96% that you're sounding natural.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there is something about the quality of the sound every time like you learn a new vowel sound. Maybe it has to do something with the placement of your voice as well, like where the voice is coming out of. And then these are like very slight minor changes in your tongue